Boys, as Ludwig would say, today, we're up to something, okay? We're up to something today, chat. Today, got something planned for today, for content, okay? Yu-Gi-Oh! Content, right? Might be a bit McDonald'sy, alright? Might be some McDonald's content, but it's content nonetheless, okay? So today, we're gonna be making a tier list on Phantom Rage. The new decks, the new cards, etc. That's it. That's literally it. First, we are starting off with Mutant Cry, I believe. Mutant Cry. So this is the Mutant Trap card that lets you fusion summon. Alright? During the main phase. This card is absolutely phenomenal. This card's very good. This card's astonishing. Solid card, searchable within the archetype, lots of ways to fusion summon, shuffles back resources. It's all good. It's just solid. Shuffles from field, grave, banished. Good card. Unfortunately, it is limited by only using it in the main phase, but that's probably a good reason why it's only in the main phase. You know, it'd be a bit too good if you could just use it in any phase, right? Next, we have a Mutant M5. This is the one that searches mutant monsters. This card is very good. Same thing with M45. Question mark, is this M45? ST46. Whatever. Anyway, this one searches spells and traps. That's why it's called ST46. And this is called M5 because it searches monsters. Insane. Both of these cards are extremely strong, really good, solid cards. Unfortunately. Mutant cards aren't that busted, so we can't really put these cards in the amazing pile, but these cards are very good. They're very strong cards. Next, we've got GB88. I'm not sure what the GB stands for, to be perfectly honest, but this card's okay. It's a quick effect during your opponent's main phase. You summon it from the hand. If it's summoned during your opponent's turn, you tribute it, and then you summon back one of your mutants that's banished or in your graveyard. The GB stands for good boy. It do. Anyway. It's average. This card's not that great. It does require quite a lot of setup, but it is an okay interruption. But it only summons level 8 mutants, which really sucks. It starts for graveyard. Oh, it stands for graveyard banished. Yeah, GB. And 88 is because 8 is the level monster. Interesting. What's the 5 for? It's 500 defense. Well, this says 500 attack. This doesn't make any sense. Is this set code meme? I don't know. Who cares? Anyway. Yeah. It's an average card. About an average card. Now, Mutant Beast, Mutant Mist, and Mutant Arsenal. I think I got this right. Yeah, this is Arsenal, that's Mist. Okay, cool, yeah. So, Mutant Beast. Good card. Negate spells. Solid, like, not being able to be targeted by spells. Is a pretty... Or, sorry, this one can't be targeted by monster effects and negate spells. That's what it is. This one's really good. This one's quite good. Not as good as these, but it's an okay. And then we have Mutant Mist. This card negates trap cards. It's kind of bad. This card is kind of bad. It's very, very average. All it does is just draw cards. Your opponent has to activate a trap card for this to trigger. It's not too powerful, unfortunately. But if they use the effect of a trap card, it does trigger, which is quite cool. So if you're playing against something like Datascape, for example, and they activate the effect of one of their Datascape traps, then you are able to draw 2 cards. And that is something you have to maybe consider. Additionally, if you're playing against Eldritch and they use the graveyard effects of their elixirs, you can chain this and then draw 2 cards. And that's not too awful, if it wasn't for the fact that this card has to banish a card from your hand or field to do so. not too hot. Now, Mutant Arsenal, this one's average. This is kind of the middle of the pack. It's one of the best ones, but it's really hard to summon just because you need to banish a trap card with your mutants, the Stratos mutants, to be able to do so. And banishing a trap card is not too hot. Not too hot. Now we get on to the first mutant fusion monster, which is Synthesis. On summon, pop a card. And this card's very good. Easy to summon, just two mutants with different attributes. Destroys a card on field, makes itself unaffected by whatever is activated. So for example, if you summon this into a board and they try to negate with Herald the Arclight, bam! Just unaffected by the Herald. Mutant Synthesis, very poggers card. Very, very good card. The only thing keeping it from being absolutely amazing is it doesn't do a whole lot apart from just popping and just making itself unaffected. Not the strongest, but it's the investment you make for it is fine. It's fine. Good enough risk, good enough investment versus reward there. Now we have Mutant Ultimus. This card's quite hard to summon. Its effect is quite powerful because you can just negate by banishing cards from your graveyard or your field or your hand. It's kind of cool. And it banishes. But it's quite hard to summon. The card's good, but it's kind of average. Being able to summon, like, having to get 3 different mutants is quite rough. Well, it doesn't have to be 3 different mutants, but getting 3 big mutants is, like, hard enough anyway. And it's literally just a Mechaba, where, if you think about it, Mechaba is just, all you need in investment is 1 Alistair. The investment for Ultimus is, like, your entire life savings, your mortgage, your house, your life, your all of your pets. That's what you have to invest in to actually make Ultimus, which sucks. And next we have the field spell, the Mutant Evolution Lab. This card is actually kind of poggers. Has a Cosmotown-esque effect. Shuffles back one of your garbage back into your deck. Lets you draw a card. Or not shuffles, it puts it bottom of the deck, draws a card. Pretty decent effect. Unfortunately, its effect on activation, you have to use this on activation, which just kind of suck. If it was like a once per turn you could do this, it'd be kind of poggers. But it's not. However, the fact that it's searchable, and the just the fact that, like, your mutants banish themselves to use their effects, it's kind of sick. So, yeah, it's not that bad, actually. I'd say it's a good card. And next we have Mutant Fusion. This card... Oh, I should actually also say that this, like, little boost effect you get with this field spell is okay. It does give it, you know, some more additional uses, which is kind of nice. Yeah, it's okay. Anyway, next we have Mutant Fusion. This card is very good. 3 Tactical Talents. It's like a 3 Tactical Talents Shaddoll Fusion-esque card. Really, really bizarre. But this card's quite strong for when you're going second. Obviously, Synthesis is the good shit when you're going second. Just be able to slide through interruption, like impermanent, whatever. It's kind of neat. But yeah, it's pretty poggers. Next we have the equip spell, Mutant Blast. It's absolute. It's so bad. It's like as bad. It's almost as bad as Mist, but Mist is almost. It's just worse somehow. I don't know how, but Mist is just worse. I didn't think they could make it. God. I don't think. So here's one thing, right? I don't think this card's completely unplayable. Just because 1 sec, someone redeemed Heat the Goat. So the thing that makes this card not completely unplayable is the fact that it does have some kind of neat effects. It is searchable. Banishing stuff is quite good. And also, its other effect is also kind of decent. You get to banish itself, send the monster to the graveyard, and then summon a mutant with a different attribute from your hand or deck, which also just loads up your banish pile. Which is pretty neat. And that's the only thing keeping this from being a completely unplayable card. Next, we have Mutant Clash. Effect negation. It's okay. Sample text, by the way. It's okay. It's just... It's not even as good as Protocol, which sucks because you only can do this on when you activate this card, which is Garbaggio, but it's playable. It's like a negate. It stays on the board so you can use your mutant effects on it. It's not completely bad. It's not completely bad. It's okay. Actually, you know what? It's better than these two. We'll put an average. Now for the next card, the Trap card expansion. This card's actually not that bad. I'd say this is about average. It's searchable. It lets you summon GB88 from deck, and then you have to summon another dude from deck. However, we still have to... There's still a lot you need. I feel like the deck needs a lot more for this card to be a lot better. Anyway, next we get on to the Suiton archetype, chat. Also known as the dual avatars in the TCG. Now we have 2/1, the field spell for... Is this 2/1? This is 2/1, right? Yeah. Field spell for dual avatar. Good. I would almost put this in the very good category. Field spell, pretty strong card on activation. Obviously, add a Suiton from deck to hand. Summon the token as well. Does everything what you want it to do. Brilliant. Also synergizes really well with the level 4 as well. Next, we get on to the big boy fusion for the dual avatars. So, this boy. It's not very good. It's like hard-ish to make, and it's just not very good. It's just bad. Next, we have the Trap card for Dual Avatar, which is the one that copies. This card is actually pretty decent. Well, actually, no. I'd actually put it at good. It's searchable. This one's actually searchable this time. Copying the spells and traps is pretty good. Being able to fusion summon your opponent's turns is obviously pretty decent. Gives you a lot of recursion. It's nice. Now we have Kokuku. And I'll put these two in the same category. Fists and Kokuku. You can trap trick it. Yeah, you can also trap trick it. Feet and Yuhi. Good. Feet and Fists. Good cards. These are just solid Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Are they a solid Yu-Gi-Oh deck? It's a playable deck. Is it a very good playable deck? No. Could it be in the future? Maybe? Who knows? Next, we have the Quick Play spell card for the Suiton archetype. For those unaware, it's basically like an Icarus attack. It's a Conquistador / Haquero in the same card. It's really bizarre. It lets you destroy a card your opponent controls, and also, if you destroy the Suiton fusion with this effect, you also get to banish a card from your opponent's graveyard too. So it's Conquistador and Haquero in the same card. I would put this as playable as you can hold cards and physically put them on a playmat. You could probably win like one game in a match on average. But yeah, this card's actually kind of like, I feel like it's in the same vein as these. Really solid cards. Yeah. Now we have this card, the Trap card that summons back the the problem with this card is that it needs setup, or else it would be like here. But yeah, it's okay. Now we have the Trap card. This Trap card's not too great. Unfortunately, bringing back the Suitons, the dual avatars from your graveyard doesn't really do a whole lot for you. Which kind of sucks. But you can like summon a token with the effect, which is cool. if you bring back one of the babies. But it also lets you bring back the fusion monsters. Unfortunately, Dueling Book is literally shitting itself right now, but this card's okay. It's okay. Then we get into the fusion monsters. So the fusion monster that negates stuff is kind of average. And this card is pretty good. One destroys cards. Actually kind of a decent card. Next we get into Dual Avatar Invitation. I think this card's absolutely phenomenal. This card is just great. It's just summons a bunch of tokens. Discard a card. Get in a Beerut. Cry a bit. But it's an absolutely astounding card. This card, like, on its own, just does a whole lot. Just puts the 2 fusion monsters on board, and that's like, okay, you know? Yeah, so the cool thing about this card is that it does discard for effect. But then, yes, this is every card from Phantom Rage. So, the problem with this card, and the cool thing about this card, is the fact that it doesn't discard for cost. This makes it so that if it's negated, you didn't lose a card. However, this poses a problem with the dual avatar deck, because the problem is that the trap card that copies the spells means that if you copy the spell that makes tokens, you're gonna have to discard a card. And that is really, really cringe. So you're gonna have to discard a bunch of cards to be able to actually use this card twice, which kind of sucks. Zach like absolutely wants me to commit the toaster bathtub right now, but unfortunately, it is what it is. It's a cool concept. It is a cool concept. I really like the deck. Well, Dual Avatar is the first deck I kind of looked into from Phantom Rage. Sweet deck. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's a 2016 deck, essentially. Just has the same power level as the 2016 deck, which is kind of a shame. Next up, the Datascape portion, which is quite a lot of cards, but we can kind of zoom through these pretty fast. So Lulu is a very amazing card. Searches, sick. Lin, that's foolish, very good. The Gate, very good. Long, bad. Juju, average, but you still have to play it. Nyang, amazing card. Shishi, it's okay. Shuch, very good. The Dayscape Capital, Kinglong, or not Kinglong, what is it called again? Dayscape Capital, Kulun, amazing card. Puts one of these from deck. The Chuch or the Kinglong. Amazing. Absolutely busted card. Gets everything started for the deck. Lao, very good card. Fen. It's a good card. Jaja. We have now made a new tier just for this card, Jaja. Because Jaja. Shen, very good card. It's a good card. It's macro. Brings itself back. Easy to make. So, as you can see, actually, I'd probably put Juju in the good category, but yeah. So, as you can see, pretty much every virtual world card is very good to amazing. And that's for a good reason. The deck is very strong. Its ability to play through hand traps is quite cool. It's got a lot of versatility. It's really interesting because you don't play Link monsters. You don't have to play Link monsters. When's the first time did you hear that? Don't have to play any Link monsters. It's like one of the first few decks in like years where you just don't need to play a single Link monster. It's so cool. Level 3s, level 6s, level 9s. Is it interesting though? VFD pass? That is kind of a problem, but the deck is so incredibly cheap. It's so incredibly powerful. Brilliant. Ability to go second is sweet just because of cards like the Dayscape Capital, the Spell, Kinglong. Amazing. Perfecto. Chef's kiss. I give this deck my seal of approval. Now we get on to the Tri-Brigades. So I'm gonna just quickly zoom through these as well like I did with Dayscape because there is quite a few cards to go through. Naval. Or Nerval. Very good card. Searches. It's level 1. Bang. The continuous spell is average. Unfortunately, this card locks you into summoning only beasts, beast warriors, and wing beasts from your extra deck, which you might think, oh, Tri-Brigades do that already, but they don't actually do that. And the card's okay. Like, it searches a dude from your deck. It's alright.
What's the best deck right now?
It's alright.
Blood, sorry.
It's alright. Yo, thank you for the gifted sub, Valor. But yeah, so cards are good. It's well, yeah, I'd say it's average. Tanky is just better than this. Tanky doesn't lock you out like this does. Yeah, that's basically it. Flaget. This card is very good for beast decks. Summons a dude from hand, lets you cycle through your deck. Well, basically lets you draw a card, put one on bottom, lets you put away bricks. Summoning from hand is quite a strong effect. Link 2, easily summonable. Very good. Very, very good card. Tri-Brigade. I don't know what the name of this card in the TCG is, but it's the Tri-Brigade Trap. That's a Miracle Fusion. Let me try get it up on screen now. Tri-Brigade Revolt. Just so you can see. You summon any number of your banished beast, wing beast, or beast warrior, wing beast from your graveyard, or banished. Negate their effects. They get summoned, and then you link them all into a Tri-Brigade monster. Card's actually kind of decent. It's a bit of play in the OCG, kind of a lot of toying around with. It's just a return from a different dimension, kind of, and summoning something like Strike on your opponent's turn is actually pretty decent. It's actually pretty decent. Yo, Valor, thank you for all the gifted sub, appreciate it. But yeah, so the cool thing about this is that the thing with Tri-Brigade is that, bang, all of your Tri-Brigades banish. Well, this puts them back in the graveyard. This card's good. Now, the only reason why this card doesn't go immediately in the amazing pile or the very good pile is because it's not searchable. If this card was searchable, I would put this probably here. I'd probably put this here if it was searchable. It would just slightly go through good to amazing. That's how much this type of stuff changes. But unfortunately, the problem with all this Tri-Brigade spells and traps is the fact that none of them are searchable. It's just garbage. It's absolutely just, it sucks. It makes me actually want to toast the bathtub again. Anyway, Tri-Brigade Ceres. This card's good. I wouldn't say this card's absolutely amazing at the moment, but it's a good card. Tri-Brigade Airborne Assault is the next card. Oh, one sec. Let me just get Fractal up here. Fractal, Foolish Burial, bang. Very good card. It mills this, and then this searches this. Or another Fractal. Good card for me. Good card for me. Searchable off Tanky. Brilliant. Brilliant. Now, Airborne Assault. AKA Wasted Secret Rare. Is this card good? Kinda. It's kinda good. But the problem with the card is that we don't have many good things to summon it at this current point in time. Other problem is that you can only summon Link monsters for the rest of the turn. Now, some targets do come to mind with this card. Reborn Tengu, Zephyros the Elite, pretty good cards. But a problem is that even though it's in the Tri-Brigade archetype, it negates it. Negates whatever it summons. So it's bad. But if we get a Tri-Brigade spell in the future, and a Tri-Brigade spell searcher in the future, and some other cool Tri-Brigade Link monsters, and other Link monsters in general, this card could be absolutely titty bojangles. So you never know. You never know. But it's kind of bad. Like the best target is like Reborn Tengu, but Reborn Tengu is a pretty very broken card. Next we have the Link 3 Tri-Brigade. Unfortunately, the Link 3 Tri-Brigade is absolute horse poop. Alright? It's absolute horse poop. The card it'd be probably better if this card was a vanilla. Let me try to get it up on screen now for those that don't know what it does. Okay. So it's a Link 3. Good. During your opponent's main phase. Okay. You can special summon a level 4 or lower Beast Beast or Wing Beast from your hand or graveyard. But negates effects. And also return to the hand in the end phase. It discards into the graveyard. You can make all monsters your opponent controls lose 300 attack for each monster type you control until the end of this turn. Why is this garbage? Well, this effect's pretty bad. And this negates whatever it summons. If this didn't have to negate what it summoned. This card would be probably good. It wouldn't be busted or anything if it didn't have this line of text. But you know, unfortunately this card is a bit too overbalanced, and this card is just bad. However, it's still a playable card just because it's one of the few cards you can actually summon off the Tri-Brigade monsters, which makes this so close to here, but it teeters on the edge of just bad. Next we have the other Tri-Brigade trap card, which was Tri-Brigade Oath. Not too bad. Not too bad. Is what I would say if this card was actually not that bad. This card's it's so garbage. It's just so garbage. Why did this have to have this effect? Why is it that this card with such sick art, it even this card even like shows all this cool artwork. Such a beautiful looking card. You've got Fallen of Albaz there. You've got Ecclesia. She's probably dead or something, who knows. And then garbage effect. This card's got such good artwork and I just wasted on an absolutely garbage card. Target link monster you control. You have to summon something with a different type from your graveyard. And it's a trap card. If this is a spell card, this would probably be really good. And then its graveyard effect to just negate a spell or trap. You need to have one of everything. And here's the kicker, chat. You can only use one of its effects per turn. Magician's Navigation came out 4 years ago. And this card is just somehow 10 times worse. I don't know how. But they did it. Anyway, next up is Strike. This card's very good. For those who don't know, on summon, banish a card. When sent to the graveyard by any means, search a beast, warrior, winged beast, whose level is up to or equal to or lower than the amount of banished beast, warrior, winged beast you have. Solid card. Very good card. Non-targeting banish too. Solid. Next up is Penguin Heroes. Most hyped card in the set, obviously. For good reason. Penguin Heroes. White people happies in the chat. Can't target. Face down, defense position, monster control card effects. You can only use each of the following effects per turn. If it's special summoned, if it's synchro summoned, summon a penguin from your deck. Face down defense mode. Solid. When your opponent activates a monster effect, face down dude, face up. So summon penguin soldier from deck. Your opponent breeds. Back to the hand. Back to the hand if they sneeze. But how good is this deck? And how good is this card? Well, it's amazing, baby. This card's the best card ever made. Literally, I don't even know why anything was even made in this set beforehand. Oh, apologies. Let me just delete this row. One sec. We need to make one above Jaja. We need to make a list above Jaja. Literally unbeatable. Literally unbeatable. Pile bam. Penguin Heroes gets a tier all to itself. Card is just muy bueno. Muy bueno. Muy bueno. Now we got to the Infernities. Well, Infernity Reflection. The trap card. Now you can activate if you have no cards in your hand. It's a good card. Infernity Doom thing? Literally unplayable. Other Infernity stuff is kind of average. The spell card is actually kind of good. Now we have the UA cards. This card, the level 4 dude, is good. He's the one that summons a dude from deck. Question mark. I remember the level 4 being very good, the Libero Spiker. Yeah, he summons a dude from your deck. Really solid. Really solid. Summons the Perfectus Ass from your deck. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Let me just get up all the UA cards. Just so we don't have to click through them all. So, next we got the Hyper Stadium. Additional normal summon. Decent card. But unfortunately, it's a UA card. Locker Room. Wow, it's just a mulligan. Stadium's insane. What do you mean? Nah. Bro. No, I'll put it as good. We'll put it in good. Fine. Fine. Anyway, this one's completely unplayable. Completely unplayable. The Fierce Ball searches too. Yeah, but it's for UA cards. What's the problem? It's UA cards. Unfortunately. Anyway. Locker Room bad. It's cool that it's FA card though. Or FA cards. Oh no, even better. FA cards. Amazing. Anyway. Playing Manager. This card is actually not that bad. It's actually not that bad. It summons itself from hand. Pops a card in the field. It's just good card. Just skill drain. Like, hello? This card's really good. I like that one. It's good. Good effect. Good effect. And now, as tradition, with every single trap card in these archetypes, literally unplayable pack filler garbage. And that's really sad. However, this archetype is really cool. However, I, as a man who doesn't really enjoy sports, I'm gonna give this archetype like a 5 out of 7. Yeah. Anyway. Next, we got the PK cards. Alright, next we got the PK cards. Tier scale. Buenos Dias, this card is hot. Okay? Buenos Dias, that card is hot. Raiders Knight, good card. This Raid Raptor is about average. The Counter Trap, it's kind of bad. Raiders Wing, I'd probably put it like between here. If that was possible. Arc Rebellion Dragon is good. Not absolutely insane. This trap card, from what I remember, is like absolute dog, but let me just read it again so I'm not a silly Sally. God damn it. Where is it? Sag. Why are these here? It's dog shit unplayable. I'll take your word for it. Damn, this card's so... Oh, never mind. It was right there. Ah, yes, it's this card. Yep. 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 Mm-hmm. Yep. 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 Mm-hmm. Yep. Right. Next, we get on to the other Raid Raptor. I think Strangle Linus is the one I don't know what it does. This one just summons itself, right? Yeah, this one's good. That one's good. This one's good. Summons itself. Good card. Now, this rank up magic, I'm not entirely sure where to put it. I've been kind of toying around with it. It's kind of cool, but it's a bit limited. But I'd probably keep my eye on this card. It's a cool card. But, actually, no. Yeah, it's a rank up magic. We'll put it on average. We'll put it on average. Like, the things it can summon is cool. Like, it can summon Arc Rebellion. That's pretty good. In fact, it's searchable is also good. So, I don't know. It's neat. Boost can search it. It's settable off Rusty. Yeah, instead of putting it average, I'm just going to put it in good. Just the fact that it's searchable makes the card good alone. Strained Greaves. I think this card's, like, average. The Phantom Knight to summon this off and can increase his level by 1 is kind of cool, but it's eh. It's kind of eh, you know? Kind of eh. Next up is the Dogma card of this set. The Dogma, I have no idea what they translated it to or localized it to, but it's hash. Let's just call it Dogma Hash or Dogma Ashian. Is that the English name now? Who knows? Anyway, this card is kind of bad. The first effect is quite hard to trigger, especially in Dogma. Now obviously, if you play Maximus, or if you draw Nadir Servant with this card, it's kind of decent. But the problem is that this isn't good unless it's past turn 1. And if this could add back Nadir Servant, that'd be pretty decent. But unfortunately, that's not the case. Cool thing is that it can add back Dogma Punishment, which is the only card in the archetype which actually lets you recycle that card. However, no. So we're gonna put this in the bad category. Even though it's searchable, excuse me. That's kind of cool. But it's bad. Next up is the Dogma Equip spell. I don't even know what this card localized to either. All I know is that both these cards are completely unplayable. This is an attack modification card. Who figures? Now, Warning Point. Now, I'm not sure where to put Warning Point. For those that don't know what this card does, it's a trap card. Not once per turn. No material-esque card. It's also like an imperm. It's very interesting. Not once per turn. It's when a monster's summoned by any means. So flip summon, normal summon, special summon, exceed summon, whatever. Ritual summon, tribute summon. And this turn, that face-up monsters can't attack. Effects negated. Also can't be used as material for a Fusion Synchro, XYZ, or Link summon. Now here's the problem with this. When would you ever rather play this card over Solemn Strike? When would you ever want to play this over Solemn Strike? Now, what's interesting about this card? First of all, in the era that we are in now, you can make your opponent lose a monster zone. So, sometimes, even though Solemn Strike negates and destroys the monster without ever hitting the field, with no counterplay from your opponent, this means that your opponent cannot use the zone the monster's in, essentially. So for example, if your opponent makes Halki Fibrax, you Warning Point that boy, gets negated, stays in the extra monster zone, it doesn't get turned into Link Cross, and that's actually pretty good. But the problem is, the decks in this format are so powerful that they can kind of just play around this card. So it's a bit hit or miss. Cool thing about it though is that if you draw multiples of this, it's pretty nice. And also trap trickable. But it is kind of format dependent, but I will put this card in the good category. It's very interesting, and the place of this card can either go higher, higher, and higher, or lower and lower and lower, depending on what kind of format. So this is kind of a tech card that's kind of waiting for its place in the meta. Fortune Telling. It's an Arcana Force card. XYZ. I can't remember this card's name, but it's XYZ something. Absorb or something. XYZ. Is it even here? Hello, am I blind? He's not here. Oh, it's not on there. Oh. It's XYZ import. Oh, well, I'm... Okay. Well, I'm just gonna... Oh, this is... Okay, so from what I remember, this card is... You can attach a monster your opponent controls as a material or something? Question mark? Is that the card I'm thinking of? Am I just a crackhead? Anyway, probably bad. Probably unplayable. Target one XYZ monster control, one monster your opponent controls with attack less than equal to it. Oh, that card's actually not that bad. This card's also searchable off of Generation Force. It's actually kind of playable. I'll put this in average. It's actually kind of an okay card. It's actually kind of an okay card. Good removal card. Now. Prank Kids, Meow, Meow, Moo. Where would I put this card? Amazing. This card's absolutely just a custom card. Chat. I have had so many talks with friends being like, what if Prank Kids got a Link 1? And we're thinking, what if, like if they ever made a Prank Kids Link 1, it would have to have so many restrictions on it. They would have to have, like, you're locked into Prank Kids for the entire turn. You can only, you, like, lose 1,000 life points at the end of the turn for every Prank Kids you summon this turn. But no, if anything, Meow Meow Moo is even better than that. Not only does it not lock you into anything, it also just has a good graveyard effect. It makes it so your Battle Butler is just a double Butler. A double Raigeki. Meow Meow Mew could have been a vanilla, and I would have still put this card in amazing. Chat. This card could have been a vanilla, and this card would have been still in the amazing category. A Link 1 for a deck that really shouldn't have a Link 1. Might be problematic in the future. Now, I have said before in the past that I don't particularly think that Prank Kids is that great of a deck, but I'm sure there's someone out there who's probably just ready to, you know, show us all that we're wrong. So maybe the deck is potentially, you know, amazing. But even without that, this card's absolutely nuts. Probably shouldn't exist in the game. Yeah. Cool. Anyway. Next we have the Tri-Brigade Fusion Stigmavore. This card's bad. I'll actually just put this in a literally unplayable. You can't... It's not good. It's not good.
What's the best deck right
Not
now?
good. Yo, it's Ranka. Thank you for the Twitch Prime for 2 months. I really appreciate it. Right. Stigmavore. Literally unplayable. You can't do anything with this in Tri-Brigade. The only reason why you'd ever want to play this is if your opponent uses Maximus Effect. And if my opponent uses Maximus Effect, I would rather be sending Entus and Cyber Dragon Nova. So, whatever, man. Cupid 4. Cupid 4. What do we think about Cupid 4? Well... Now, these cards are already out, so we're not gonna put them in the... We're not gonna put them here. All I know is that these are really bad. The only good one is the Earth one, as far as I know. Now, the new Nephthys Ritual Monster is actually quite good. It's nowhere near as the help that Prank Kids got, but this is actually pretty decent. It's actually a pretty decent card. The fact that it just ritual summons from deck for free, it's pretty nuts. It's really good for the archetype, but unfortunately the archetype is kind of bad, so still not too great. Next we have this stupid shark thingy, the Gluttonous Greed Fish. Tuner. Depending on the amount of... It's dependent on the depending on the amount of cards in your opponent's hand, it's not completely terrible. It's not like utterly unplayable, but it's unplayable. It's unplayable. Next card we have is, it's a tuner that might get banned in the future. You're absolutely correct, Jay. You're absolutely correct, right? Pluffiness. What is this? Who made this? Shut up. Stop talking. Now, this card, chat, the Xeno Guitarum, it's kind of an average card. It's actually not that bad. Being able to grab back a rock is good. Being able to mill a rock is good. But block dragon's not legal, so yeah. Next up is the new Gizmek iteration in this set. New Gizmek iteration is it's kind of weird. This does add Ecclesia from deck to hand. It's kind of interesting. Has obvious synergy with cards like Desires. You can summon it from deck with Uka. But it's kind of a weird card. It's not completely terrible. It's not bad. It's just average. It's just okay. It's just an okay card. Next we have the For Hire card. If this card had a way to summon itself, chat, like special summon itself, you could probably put it up higher. Next up is the Trap card that people all misread, I think. Or was it mistranslated or something? I can't remember. Anyway. You banish. So this is called the Banquet of Millions. Banish any number of cards from your extra deck face down, and then banish the same number of face down cards from your opponent's extra deck face up until the end phase. So, this card, very interesting. You can banish your opponent's entire extra deck for a turn. Entire extra deck for a turn. I don't think it was a mistake in the card. I think people just didn't read this part. But this card is quite interesting. You get to choose what cards you banish from your extra deck. Unfortunately, you don't get to choose the cards you banish from your opponent's extra deck. Now, obviously, that'd be kind of busted, but this card is just Artifact Scythe without the Artifact Scythe. Can it banish Pendulum monsters? It can't banish Pendulum monsters from your opponent's extra deck. It can only banish face-down cards from your opponent's deck, but you can theoretically banish Pendulum monsters from your extra deck with this. But this card's not that great. Card's not that great. However, it is kind of cool in a Monarch deck, as someone's pointed out. If you do play like an extra deck Monarch deck, you can go feedback, banish your entire extra deck, and go. Rrrr. But once again, you'd rather just play no extra deck in the first place. And if your opponent's under domain, they're not going to need their extra deck anyway. Who cares? Exactly. I wouldn't say this card's utterly unplayable. I think there will be a time and place for this card, potentially. So I'm going to put it as average. Hida. I mean, I'm just going to keep Hida here. I don't think there's any point of reviewing Hida. This card's been out for a year. No point. Almost 2 years, actually, of Hida being legal. Fun fact. Anyway. Next up is Jack in the Hand. Good card. Good card. The fact that another more good level 1 support is pretty decent. Pretty decent. Coordinal. Another just solid card. Being able to just swap monsters with your opponents. It's quite an interesting effect. I'd almost put this in very good, to be perfectly honest, because it's just the fact that it's generic. Which is neat. Which is very neat. And yep, it's an FTK card, but I'm just gonna put this in good. It's a very weird card, but it's like a link to Borrowload. That's kind of situational. Your opponent does kind of have to play into it, but if they don't play into Coordinal, then they're probably playing into Relinquished Anima. That's kind of a cool thing. Next up is Armatile. The new Armatile, just bad. I'd probably put in utterly unplayable because that's what Sacred Beasts are. Unfortunately, same thing with the Captain Roland. This card is, sorry, not Captain Roland, Captain Oliver. This card is so painfully bad. Same thing with this other pack filler. Don't even know what that is. Probably pack filler. Anyway, let's just put all the pack filler to the side. This card's average. Jabbing Pan is probably terrible. Probably also unplayable. Anyway. Next we saved the best for last. The boys. The gang. The pant one is in pack filler. Oh yeah, this is actually okay. This is Reborn's a plan. This one's actually decent, yeah. You're right. Yeah. Right. Now we have the best 3 for last, chat. Let's start with Divine Arsenal AA Zeus Sky Thunder. Amazing card. I've talked about this before, and I'll say it again. The investment versus reward with this card is absolutely nuts. Make an XYZ, attack, slap this on top, flex on him. Other cool thing is that if you didn't know, it's not that your XYZ monster has to battle for you to be able to summon this card. If your opponent has an XYZ monster and you attack into it, and then in main phase 2 you make an XYZ, you can then make Sky Thunder, which is quite interesting. It's quite interesting. So if you attack into your opponent's XYZ and main phase 2 you make your own XYZ, you can make your own Sky Thunder, which is okay. Is it ever gonna come up? Probably not, but that's something you do have to keep in mind with this card. Obviously, quick effect, slash your opponent's entire field is pretty good. So yeah, this is absolutely amazing. I'd almost put this higher, but yeah. Alpha, the King of Beasts. As weird as this sounds, chat, I'm putting it here. It's just very good. Is it absolutely amazing? I wouldn't say so. But this does differ from format to format. You do have to think about this. Some formats, this card will be here. Sometimes this card will be literally here. It's a spectrum. You know? It's a spectrum. Some formats will just lose to 3,000. Some decks in the future might just lose to 3, like Blue Eyes White Dragon, and sometimes you need a free Blue Eyes White Dragon. You feel me, champ? You feel me? Sometimes you just want Blue Eyes White Dragon on the field. You know? There will be a time and place for this card, but that's probably in the future rather than later. Or probably in the future rather than this year. Oh, but it, could prove me wrong. It's actually kind of okay in this current format, but it's like just okay. There's probably just better options. And now we have Joyous Malphys, the last card. We saved the boy, the most undefeatable, undescribable card, plus 50 with just this card alone. Can't believe that they ever printed this card. This card obviously also needs another tier of its own. Welcome to your new Lord and Saviors. Chat, welcome. The new tier of its own. Welcome your Lord and Saviors, chat. Joyous Malphys. The best Yu-Gi-Oh card ever printed. Just better than Penguin Heroes. Obviously, Penguin Heroes was obviously going to be the most meta-impacting card of all time, but Soul Charge, it's a plus 50. Attacks directly, solves the problem of Malphy, where you don't have any monsters with attack points. Just does everything. It brings out all your friends, makes them run away, protects your friends, lets your friends do damage. Amazing. Absolutely unplayable. Absolutely unbeatable. Once this card gets slapped down on your field, your opponent might as well just be packing up their cards and going to the next YCS. Or they might as well be dropping from the tournament and just going to play in a side event. Hope the card doesn't get summoned against them ever again. That's what happens when you play Joyous Malphys.